Who would win in a fight? Zion Williamson or JJ Redick? We're bringing back celebrity fights. This time we're doing it our way. There are no rules in Fight Club, okay? You could talk about it and you can do anything you want with Fight Club. So we've got a tale of the tape.
We're breaking rule number 1 of Fight Club right now, but
we're fixing
it. This is we're starting Beadle Bash Fight Club.
I love it.
Beadle Bash, which sounds like the worst sideshow on Fremont Street.
It does.
In Vegas. No, tie it back.
Okay.
But yes, I'm stoked for this. I would love to watch these guys. Like now we're in the whole era of celebrity boxing now. Real boxing is dead. It's all about the celebrity boxing, and if you can't get a Paul brother, then let's go and let's get a current NBA player and an ex-NBA player who's a disgruntled teammate, scorched earth.
Yes.
Let's go. The story's right there.
It's right here.
I just love it. I love someone, and JJ Redick, from all that we think we know about him, seemed like the consummate professional. Seemed like he was always there. He was sort of certainly a gun for hire the last few years of his career.
Sure.
But he seemed like he was always trying to be a good teammate, and that's what you don't want. Is you don't want your teammate calling you out and being like, "Oh, this guy didn't try. He didn't care. He was just there for whatever the Campbell's Chunky Soup paychecks."
I mean, that's the thing. It's not like there are ways to be a bad teammate, right? Like you can just be antisocial. You can be kind of a dick to everybody. You can be whatever. But this specific attack about being a bad teammate it's body related. It's time investment related. It's basically saying, yo, I get that you're hurt. But what you can't do is what we all do, especially during the pandemic, was sit on our asses, watch TV, and eat whatever we wanted to because we figured, life's too short. I'm going to eat all of this. And so it feels like that's what Zion's done here. I mean, he even has that commercial, which I still was amazed.
The Mountain Dew commercial?
Like, who let that happen?
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on. Here's the thing is now, and I found this out especially during the whole Ben Simmons thing, is like, if you came out against Ben Simmons, there was a group of people that was like, "Oh, you're coming out against mental health."
Right.
And it's like, no, not
at all.
Exactly. Like if you're having problems, holy crap, I feel bad for anyone whose job it is to play basketball who has a wide open dunk layup and goes, "I can't do that." I feel bad for that person. I have sympathy, but at the same time, that is your job. Like I can't say, I'm a stand-up comedian, but I'm having problems, so I'm just not going to go on stage, but you must continue to buy tickets and pay me. That is
right.
That is different. So it's like, so yes, when you start talking about Zion's weight, there is a little bit of like, oh, you're body shaming, but it's like, well, but that's your job, and that's why you're being paid as much as you're being paid is to perform at a peak condition, and if you cannot do that, then why are we paying you? It's like I get the people that would be like, it's body shaming, he could do what he wants, but it's like you can't just be like, okay, my job is athletics, and I'm gonna get huge and not be able to do athletics, and then still demand the money and the respect and all that. And that Mountain Dew commercial, dude. I mean, when they put him in the hoodie that was like 3 sizes too big, and you're just like, oh.
And they shoot it from this angle, which nobody looks good in that angle. Nobody.
We've all learned selfie
up. Come on. Maybe not Britney Spears level high, but like maybe a little closer to this. But like, dude, and I will say this because I do know we live in the most sensitive of times, and people love to throw that word bullying, shaming. We throw all those words around, and we've taken all the meaning out of all of them. And saying that is this: there are ways to talk about things like this without being assholes, right? Like I understand the difference between body shaming. Like if we just sat here and ran a bunch of fat jokes about a person, that would be rude and wrong and not cute.
Yeah.
But we are talking about sports. We are talking about an industry in which your weight is literally part of your resume. Like it is part of your height, your weight, your data. It is all part of it. And you have all of the tools with which a person could be at their best. You've got access to the best gyms, physical trainers, you've got chefs, you got everything you could possibly need, everything that most of us would give a right arm for. And so, yeah, it is part of your job. It is. I don't want my doctor to stop knowing how to do surgery or to not have to update. I don't want like all of these industries, you have to have parts of it that are key, and that's one of them. And so I'd like to preface,
part of your job.
Yeah, it's tail of the tape. Okay. There are other aspects to this fight, not just going to be weight related, because let's be honest, there is a height differential here of about 3 inches to get things started. Zion is a larger man than JJ Redick, but I don't think, and tell me if you agree, I don't think it's going to come down to that simple of whether or not Zion can beat JJ Redick in a fight.
Well, because so Zion is obviously has the size advantage, has the height advantage, probably has the reach advantage.
I would
But
think.
Here's one thing.
And the age.
Know that, and the age, he's younger. Redick does come from a family of 5 kids. And one thing I know is that when people are one of many children, they're scrappy.
Okay.
They know how to get in there because they've been fighting their whole life. And if they wanted to get seconds, if they wanted to play with the toy, they had to know how to fight off their siblings. So
that's a good call.
He may have that scrap that I don't know if Zion has had. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen Zion fuck up a shoe. I've seen him destroy
killed that shoe.
Destroy a shoe. So maybe he just goes full Hulk smash on Redick and treats him like that Nike and completely blows him out. But I don't know. I think Redick's got the speed. And, I mean, when you say Zion's got the height advantage, Zion has a height advantage over me. Okay?
I forgot who I was talking to, Brad. That's on me.
Yeah, 3 inches? It's 3 inches. What, are you going to be like that reporter that asked Zendaya, like, hey, you're dating Tom Holland and you're 3 inches taller than him. How do you make that work?
I love
that was
them
a
so
real
much.
question.
Oh, a real adult person asked that question. Actually asked it out loud.
How do you make that work? I don't know. You do that. All right, it's 3 inches. Like, what is
3 inches?
Work with 3 inches. You're young, you're hot, you're rich. That's how you make it work. Tom Holland stacks 3 inches of $100 bills on the ground.
Thank you.
Stands on top of them, and then kisses his beautiful actress girlfriend. That's how they make it work. You ask me how I make it work with my wife.
How much taller is your wife than you?
A foot and 4 inches.
Tail of the tape right there. How do you make it work,
in
Brad?
order to kiss her, I need a Batman grappling hook gun. So it's a little different.
See, I don't even know why this is all you. Okay, so then we can just throw out the size differential. It's out. It's gone. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
At least with height, because I feel like Redick has to get a few hits in onto Zion, but Zion needs to get one. If Zion gets one, it's like I forgot who Shaq fought. Shaq fought, I want to say Wally Zerbiak, but maybe it's just because I love saying the name Wally Zerbiak.
It's a great name to say. Handsome
It's a fun one.
It really is.
It was Dudley.
Oh, it was, yes. God, that's a long time ago. We're old.
Brad with the reference. Was it Chris Dudley? What's his first name?
Yeah, it's Chris Dudley. Right?
Chris Dudley. Yeah, Shaq fought Chris Dudley in a basketball game, and Shaq swung, and thank God he missed. Because if he would have connected, Dudley's a mountain of a man, and I feel like he would have just exploded into Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Brand specific.
I know, right? I hope they're a sponsor. Let's get them.
Yeah, I mean, well, Dudley is a pale white guy. I probably should have gone with Rice Krispies. But
we could connect it.
But like, so if Shaq connected, that would have been the end of the fight. And I feel like that's what would happen with Zion and JJ. JJ's got to stick and move. He's got to go, and he's got to do that. But like, if Zion just goes and just does one,
which he might. I mean, he might be so fed up with all of this talk about all of this that he's just going to have just this one moment. He's going to let JJ run circles around him. And let's be honest, JJ's a former Dookie, and Dookies have a reputation of being how do you say, not above board, a little shady, a little smarmy, a little sneaky, if you will.
What?
I would
What
say
are you talking about?
he
Are
was
you
once the
saying
most
that
hated.
Grayson Allen
I mean,
isn't
yeah, right?
level-headed?
Duke puts out some real hateable faces, okay?
Are
and
you saying
that's
that
the gift.
Christian Laettner wasn't a beloved person?
That's what I'm saying. It's a gift. It's a factory of punchable faces. God bless Coach K. He nailed it.
A factory of punchable faces.
It's what it is.
That is.
I'm sure they're great people.
That's what you call this episode. A factory of punchable faces. That is so good.
So JJ Redick is for me, he's the heel in this fight. He comes in with the baggage of sort of, because Duke is a polarizing place. People don't let that go. I don't care if you are years retired out of the NBA, no less. Like, people are going to hold Duke against you for the rest of your life.
I mean,
he hates Christmas Day games. Did you know that? JJ Redick hated and hates Christmas Day games. You might as well say he hates Santa. And if you hate Santa, you're the heel in this fight.
Well, as someone who has frequently played an elf for certain sorts of things, I have to be full team Christmas. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think he definitely is the heel. But like, Zion was a Dookie too, but he doesn't have the Dookie stank on him. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not even a little bit. So much so, we don't mention it.
No, you don't. Like, when you talk about Zion's career, you hardly ever say, "Oh, right," and then during his time at Duke, like, you don't even mention it.
Not once. I can honestly say I have never heard anyone talk about it. Like you just mentioned, you mentioned 3 names that you say their names. They had NBA careers and are having NBA careers, and we still think of them as Dukies. Like, that's a whole separate category of Duke people. With Zion, I think Zion's, maybe it's because his name is Zion freaking, like, you just have your own place in the world when your name is Zion. Yeah. Named after a biblical mountain.
It's such a beautiful name. It's the name of the home base in the Matrix movies, the last bastion of human hope. So it's like, it inspires a lot. And who hasn't been called fat on the playground and wanted to, like, punch the other person's head in? I'm rooting for Zion.
I'm rooting for Zion too.
He would just have to get that one hit in, but if JJ sticks and moves, and you know JJ is going to keep talking as he's doing it.
Yes.
So that's going to make Zion even more upset, and maybe that's how he gets him off his game. But I imagine JJ just wouldn't straight up fight. He'd be talking as he was doing it. Now, I don't know if he's going to be one of those guys that, because we all know the little kid that was like, and I know because I was this kid, I would keep talking as I was getting my ass kicked.
Smart. Yeah. Don't let him see you sweat, buddy.
Make fun of them.
Never let him see you sweat.
Never.
Or die or bleed. Like, those things.
Never.
By the way, so there are a couple nuggets here on the tail of the tape for these two that I don't want to psychoanalyze, but I do want to psychoanalyze, because on the Zion side, for example, I'm going to give you a few, and it sort of paints a picture of who he is as a human. His at one point in his life, his mom was like his coach, right? He paid the salaries of the arena employees for 30 days. So we're painting a picture of a very soft, emotional, kind human, right? He watches anime. So he's got like a certain set of probably skills that he can envision and maybe pull from.
Is anime is that what you say when you're really into hentai porn?
Okay. Did I just paint the picture of a weird freak? No. I'm painting a picture of a sweet, gentle man. Like, what is wrong with you? No.
I don't know. Whenever someone tells me that they're into anime, I just think to myself, I feel like you're trying to tell me you're into hentai porn without telling me you're into hentai porn.
I think you have to take into consideration the mouth from which the words come. And I feel like in this case, it's genuinely anime.
That's a sweet guy.
Like, he's anime. So you got sweet, guy. Right? Sweet. Yeah. Let me live my life, blah, blah, blah. On the other side, we've already mentioned his previous life, but I haven't given you these pieces of information. The Christmas thing, we know he hates. Yeah. He's an expert napper. He can fall asleep in under 5 minutes, which tells me a bit of a sociopath, has no guilty conscience about anything. Okay.
That means he can just turn off.
Exactly, which is a serial killer trait. is what it is.
All the horrible things that he's done that day.
Exactly.
Just
Puts away. Gone. Doesn't count.
Done.
As a child, organized his toys by color and shape. This is some ID channel stuff here. These are signs. And then ate the same food before every single game. Every single game. Roasted chicken, baked potato, asparagus or broccoli, and a cup of coffee. Now, delicious meal, but it's the routine of it that alarms me. I do believe Zion Williamson is in a bit of trouble in a physical fight against what is clearly a sociopath.
I think you're right. This gives off a lot of like American Psycho vibes. And
JJ Redick's awesome.
Like if you told me that JJ Redick's favorite band was Huey Lewis and the News, I'd be terrified.
As I think
terrified of this man.
I think you should
like someone who, and I see him like having the chicken and the baked potato and the cup of coffee, and right before he eats, he has to like organize it so it looks perfect.
They can't touch.
And then and then he has I don't see him as someone who has washed silverware. Like I think he has new wrapped plastic silverware every meal.
Good call.
I think
it's like the tools when you're getting your nails done. It comes out of that secret box and it's all like sterilized and yes.
And I feel like he does that move from the movie The Accountant with Ben Affleck, where before he gets to work, he does the he does that, and then he starts, and then I just feel like he would. So he's gonna study more in terms of this fight. He's meticulous. He's gonna watch film of Zion and blowing out the shoe, so he knows to avoid that. Like he's gonna be very meticulous. I just don't know if all the studying and all of the psychopath in the world will be enough to counter, because like, and also I feel like Zion's going to be like half-assing the fight. And then JJ, like I said, he's a talker. He's going to say that one thing. Maybe he'll say something about Zion's mama. And since Zion's mama was his coach,
rage.
Done.
Like, so that's okay. So are we agreed? So we have the age favors Zion, size favors Zion.
Yes.
But for some reason, are we both thinking JJ Redick wins this fight?
I think JJ Redick is winning the fight, and then he's going to say that thing that snaps Zion into killer mode. And as long as his endurance hasn't gone down too much, as long as he's still got that George Foreman puncher's chance,
that's all you need.
It's over.
Who's Coach K backing? Do we know? Who do we think?
Oh man, who's Coach K back? Well, see, I think you have to say who does Coach K back next year, because now he's still in Duke.
That's
he's
fair.
Still in it.
Yeah.
I think you have to wait till he retires, and then he'll be like JJ, where once JJ's out of the league, I'm hoping that.
Oh, I hope he's
once Coach K retires, he starts a podcast and he just starts letting fly. Let me tell you about that a-hole Grant Hill.
Yes.
He just starts like, whoa.
I would. That would be my favorite podcast in the world if that's what happens. If he comes out and just starts, every story comes out, because you know he's got stories.
K?
He's got great stories.
Yes. Of course he's got stories. So,
all right, this is our first. This is our first official who wins a fight. You and I disagree because I don't think JJ will be able to trigger Zion enough. I think I give the edge to JJ Redick. I think he's got the sharper edges, the cunning, if you will, from years of experience of being a cheating turd at Duke. I love you, JJ Redick. It's just all in fun. It's all in fun.